Dave here. How are you? Today is the 5th of September, Father's Day for a lot of people around the world. Happy Father's Day to everyone there. And also, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We've got Father's Day on one side, everyone's happy, but massive hurricane through the United States and the surrounding region. And I know there's a lot of people that have, especially in New York, had basements blown away and flooded. And my heart goes out to those people because, you know, it'd be like me copying a bushfire through here and losing all of this. Heaven forbid. But my heart goes out to you for all those people in that situation. But on the good side, we do have Father's Day. And also you can hang out with me for an hour or maybe a little bit longer. And if you can pick up some tips, great. If the live show isn't your thing, well, you know, give it a few minutes, see if you like it. If you don't, that's fine. Come back and watch the short videos that I do. All right, today on the show we have joining slabs in an easy but accurate manner, and also Derek Lark has set up some pictures of simple serving tray with doweled miters. Sounds interesting. If you've got some projects or a project that's pretty special to you, send it in to me. There's a link in the description box down the bottom with my email address and all that kind of stuff. Flick them over to me and I might pop them up on the show for everyone else to see. Ash Barty about to serve for the match. Good honor, good honor. Sound and picture is all good. Morning and happy Father's Day. Hello to everyone. All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how, you know, last week we flattened all of these Cypress boards. I'm going to show you how I joined the pair of them together. Now this is the reason being they are 10 inches wide, so it's 250 millimeters or 230, so about 9 inches wide, I guess, 230 wide, they're finishing around 41 millimeters thick at the moment. Now I can't really, an 8 feet long, 2.4 meters long, I can't make that wide, bend in and stay there. It's going to pop. If I can get enough force on the clamps, well, maybe. Thanks, Bianca. So the way to do it is to use the track saw or any circular saw. You can do this with a circular saw. You don't have to have the gear that I've got. You can have a circular saw and a straight edge. Now, if your straight edge is slightly out, now my 2.7 meter track has about a 1 millimeter bow in it, maybe half a millimeter. FESTOOL wouldn't own up to that, I'm sure. Of course, can't do that, but it has. It's about a half a millimeter. So if I use that track or a guide, like a straight edge, to guide a saw, and I've got half a millimeter bow, or concave, whichever, mine happens to be bowing, which is good, and I do the same on the board that is going to be joined, you have to double the error. So I'll have 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters of gap down the middle, and that isn't good enough. So it's a very, very simple thing to do. I'm going to flick you over to the other camera and I'll show you what I've got. So you can see on the middle, those are the two boards that I've cut with the track saw, and that's great, except for it's really good up here, but no good down here. I've got about 1.5 millimeters gap in the middle, and then it curls back to nothing. Now the other thing, let me tip this camera up a little bit now. I'll bring her up about there. How's that working? All right. The other thing is, when I've cut with the saw, if the saw isn't dead on 90 degrees, like from the base plate, if the blade isn't sticking out at 90 degrees down behind the base plate, it doesn't matter with the way that I'm going to show you. Because if it's slightly out, let's say it's 89 degrees, I might have two 89s coming together and I've got this V thing happening. So there's a 2 degree difference. See, it's all doubled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the track right on top of these two boards. And this is the join right here that I want. And I'm going to put it on so that it's, the splinter guard is maybe half a millimeter to that side. I've got to bring it across at this end. And I'm going to run the saw right down the middle. So it's going to do two things for me. It's going to cut through this gap, and if the saw blade is out perpendicular from the base, if it's out a little bit, it's going to do this all the way through, one cut. And as I bring the two pieces of wood together, it's going to be perfect. So when I come to clamping, I don't have to use any beams across the top to hold the boards down flat, because when I pull the two matched, they are matched edges, they'll be perfect. So I'm having another look here, just checking that I've got it all right. That's all looking pretty good, pretty good, pretty good there and there and there. All right. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, because I'm using a rip blade, rip blades are not really renowned for a super clean cut. So I'm going to use the reverse scribe cut on the top so we don't get any splinters kicking up. We'll get a little bit, but only minimal. So I'm going to, the splinter guard, I should say, on the track will hold it all, but there is no splinter guard out on this side. I do have this guy here. Let me swing it around. I've got this guy that I'm going to adjust down, so it's going to act as a splinter guard, but over time, this gets cut at different parts of the guard inside. So as you adjust the blade's height, different times, it'll cut into the splinter guard, or cut into the splinter guard, and then if you have a shallow cast, well then it's away from the splinter guard. It makes sense. Believe me, it really does. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit of noise. Have a quick read first. Morning all, happy Father's Day. Morning Vicky, hey baby. Hi Graham, hi Brad, and Karen from Sydney. There we go. Everyone's saying hello to my girls, which is great. And okay, so I've got it set at 3 millimeters on the FS, which I said before stands for Full and Shinny, which is guide rail. That's what the setting is. So if you've ever wondered why FESTOOL's tracks are called an FS 800 or an FS 1400, or why there's a hyphen, oh sorry, a /2 after it, it's the second model. The first ones only had one ridge. The other ones have two ridges, two T-tracks, I should say. So enough of the waffling on. I'll come back here and we'll do a reverse cut. Describe. Okay, now this is 42 millimeters, I think, so I'll take it down to around 46. Here we go, we'll do the forward cut. Get those out of the way. All right, moment of truth, moment of truth. Now that looks a whole lot better, don't you think? How do you like that? How do you like them apples? Now these aren't aligning because they're at different heights. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Oh, you don't want to see up there. You can see here. Now this is, I've already joined 3 slabs together, and you can see how good the join comes up. So our next thing to do, after I've sent you around the workshop a few times, I'll come back to the main camera. And there we go. I'll have a quick read. FS stands for Furancini. Yeah, that's what I said. Yep. Maybe I didn't pronounce it well enough. Okay, let me see what we've got happening here. I need to have a quick look at this other camera whilst I've set it up so I can make sure that it's going to work. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of moving around here for a second. So chat amongst yourselves. I'm going to take these two boards off. And take the my sacrificial door off as well. And I'm going to show you a bit more about what's happening. These are not little boards by any stretch of the imagination. Stay there and lock in. This out of the way. Now, I'm moving this out of the way because I need that bench. So I'm going to use the domino. Yep, Vicky loves David. Yep, there you go. It's on the back of the door. Alrighty. Now, there's a couple of things that I needed to show you about doing these. And it's probably going to be good if I bring this back over here. Set that camera up like so. That'll do. I'll switch it over again. All right. Now, what I didn't tell you there was I've already drawn a line down here and labelled each board. So I need to bring that back to there. So this is my reference point. So this is going to get cut off when the table's finished. I've put a line under each number. So it was board number 4, board number 5, and they had to go in the order that I set it up at the beginning, because remember, each section is matched. This board is matched to that one, each cut that I've done. Now these lines here are for the domino. You'll see over here I've written matched, possibly not. And now I can write matched on here. But the reason I do this is so I don't get lost. And it would have been a good idea to have the pencil over here as well. Yeah, not happening. Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because I need a pencil to... There it is, found it. I need the pencil. And I think I also had something else here. A little bit. This is what happens when I do half of the stuff yesterday and the other part I'm doing now. All right, so I can now write matched. This one and this one. Now you can do this, as I said, with just a standard circular saw and a straight edge. Just use the straight edge as the guide for the circular saw. I'm going to transfer the lines over for the domino. And I'm not using a clutch pencil or anything. I'm with a 0.5 mm lead. I'm using a carpenter's pencil because this part doesn't need to be super accurate. I just need to make sure that they're pretty damn close. Now I've also written loose and tight. So this one is loose. We'll write on here. Tight and loose. Now why, can you see it there? Why am I writing that there? With the domino, I'm going to do a tight domino mortise there and a loose domino mortise here. So this one will be loose as well. Write things down because then you don't get lost as you're moving 5 different boards around and working out where the hell you are. So the ones that are tight, I'll put the dominoes into first. Now that I've said that, I have to put them into the tight one to start. And then it gives me just a little bit of leeway to move this board around to get the domino to go into the other side as well. So the next thing to do is to create the mortises with the domino. So I'll move this board, this out of the way, and this one. Back here. And we'll put a couple of dogs in, like so. And as you saw on the trailer at the beginning, before the show started, that's pretty easy. Come back even further and about there. Should be okay, and get the domino out and some ear protection. This might make a little bit of noise, you know, up to you. Remember, tight. Now, for people that aren't aware of what's happening there, I'll show you on the machine. This is the XL. Up here, coming closer, that's loose and tight. So there's a switch on the side here, and now it's pointing at the tight version. So that makes, again, a little bit more explaining. This is a non-rotating dowel. This is called a domino, and the setting that I've got the machine set out at the moment will make sure when I put this into the mortise that this creates, there's no movement at all. When I flick it over to the other setting, the router cutter in there has a larger sweep, and so it allows the domino to move sideways. Still up and down is tight, but it's a little bit of movement that way. So as I say, there'll be a bit of noise. I've set it to 45 millimeters deep in the plunge, and we're 20 millimeters down to the center of the domino of where the mortise is going to go. Bit of noise. All right. You can see down the side what I've just created, all of those dominoes, all those mortises. Release this. That board is now ready for glue. And actually, I've got to do a little bit of dust extraction on it, because it's always a good idea to get the last little bit out. Bring this one over, and now because I've got all the stuff written on it, I know where I'm at, which means I've got to spin the board around. and then switch it to loose because it's written there. So I'll flick this big green switch like so. Tip it up and turn it just a bit more. There we go. All right. Where's the last one, David? I haven't done that last one. Give me a second. Don't want to stuff this up. Tape measure. So that's from the left end, so which means it's going to be on the right-hand end of the join here, from where the number is, with the number down. That's there. It is 50 millimeters back. Cool. What is it at the other end? It's going to be more. Let's just double check. That's 67. That's fine. All good. Starting again. Okay, put that down there, take the earmuffs off. Flip her up the right way. Now, I did say I've got to clean those out. And this one. All right, moving along. You still got anyone watching? I think dominoes provide alignment assurance rather than joint strength in these circumstances. These are giving me a little bit of mechanical strength. The glue does all the work. You know, we're talking about 95% of the work is done by the glue. These dominoes are basically making sure that the tops are going to be absolutely perfect. I've positioned them once every 300 millimeters along the joint, and it should be fine. Let me see, what's the next thing I need to do? I need to flip this board up this direction. Actually, I'll mix the glue up first. Might make life easier. So to do that, I'm just using a piece of melamine. I'm using Technoglue. The reason I'm using Technoglue is that it is, it's not a really viscous glue. So it's kind of, it gap fills a little bit. And with a saw blade for doing the join, I want that capacity. Because it's not a perfect joint, but it's a bloody close to a perfect joint. And when you look at this when it's finished, you'll swear that it's, you know, that it is perfect. All right, now don't be shy about mixing it up. I have two of these spatulas. Now these things are from West Systems. They I use them because I can use it again and again and again and again, because the glue, when it sets, doesn't stick to it. So it saves me a lot of mucking around. I'm going to, you like the haircut? I did it. I can't go to a barber, so I thought, you know, I've had enough of this looking like a mad professor. So I got the clippers out the other night. Had to go. Vicky trimmed up the edges, got rid of the fluff for me, and that was that. So, but you know what they say, 2 weeks. All right, I'm going to make sure I've got enough glue to do this. I'll tip that down a little bit now, I think. Give me a second. Got to keep Zoe's workshop sign happening. There we go. So you can see what's happening. All right. That's not going to be enough. This is a 2-to-1 mix. I'm going to go just a little bit more. All right. Lid on. Don't confuse the lids. Barty lost in the final set tiebreaker. Oh, bugger. Oh, well. What have we got happening here? Give around a knot. Come on, guys. Dave, as old as that timber is, are you still finding it sappy? No, this is just beautiful. If you're the goose who does... watch. I don't know. Wooden tongue depressor. That's a good idea. As you would, Doctor. Yes. Now, this is the hardener. So the first one, this white stuff is the resin. This is the hardener, and it's kind of looks like honey almost. Don't eat it. Don't put it on your toast. This is 1 part hardener, 2 parts resin. So I use the old micrometer eyes to see what's happening down there as far as all this is concerned. Sometimes they say it's best by weight. Don't use the same spatula or the same tongue depressor. And then don't even put it on top of the other one. Put it beside it. I think that might be just a little bit too much, David. If you don't get it spot on, accurate, even that looks like it's going to be a little bit too much. Maybe just a bit back. If you don't get it spot on accurate, it is pretty forgiving. And Terps cleans this off the spatula if you haven't actually mixed it up, because it won't set, obviously, sitting on its own. All right, what do we got? You hate the thought of a wooden tongue. Okay, here we go. Going to mix it up. Doesn't take long. A wooden tongue depressor. I get it. It would be depressing if you had a wooden tongue. Oh, shocker. It's Father's Day. It's Dad's jokes days. No, probably not use the kitchen scales. So we got any Dad's jokes? Fire away. You know, knock yourselves out. The other thing is, when I said that I've set the domino to 45 millimeters, so overall that's a 90 millimeter mortise when you've got both boards pulled together. Never cut your dominoes to the exact length of the plunge. I've cut all my dominoes to 80 millimeters. Now you can buy them pre-cut, or you can buy it in length. So I've got, you might see in the background there's somewhere, no, I've moved it. I buy the Cypress or mahogany dominoes. These are for outside. So what are you saying? No. Oh dear. So dominoes are beech for internal use and Cypress or mahogany for external use. So these ones are all mahogany. I think that is enough stirring. pop that down there. Now it is glove time. Possibly should have put the gloves on earlier, but not to worry. Here's an interesting thing. One of the things about this bloody pandemic and having to wear masks, when I do the shopping and I'm in the fruit and veg section, you know those plastic bags that come off a roll and you throw your zucchinis and carrots or whatever in, or peaches, mandarins in there. With the mask on, I can't open those bloody bags up because I normally just lick my fingers so that I can get traction on that plastic bag. I look like an idiot there for about 5 minutes doing this, trying to touch a vegetable, see if I can get some moisture off it. Any of you guys having the same kind, or girls having the same kind of issues? Let me see, David. Hi Dave, Dave from US, not on the boat. Water is too high. Well, I'm not surprised. You hear me? It drives me crazy. What brand of glue is it, Ash? It's Techniglue. So it's the stuff I get from work. So it's Techniglue H60F, I think they call it. So it's a structural epoxy, R60. There you go, that's the stuff. Now this you can use for jarrah and, you know, hardwoods, and it does have a gap filling capacity. See how it's sitting there? It hasn't slumped. Now if that was standard West systems, it would have run all over the place by now. I've just got to focus for a second. That is going on there. This is where all of my numbers facing with a little line underneath really helps me, because as I lay it out, I know where the joins are going to happen. I might not just leave it like this. I was thinking about going to Cargill, but I will go to Cargill very soon, but not quite yet. Tip that one up there. We'll do this one first, and then I'll bring the other board over and glue it, and then we'll drive the dominoes in. So this is loose. I've got to put tight dominoes in the board that's already down there. Now, here's another tip. Put the glue on the edge before you put the dominoes in, because it makes it a whole lot easier. Don't ask me how I know. Yeah, where are the dad's jokes? I haven't seen it. Don't you listen to my girls. You just come up with the dad's jokes and enjoy yourselves. I told you. Interrupting cow, didn't I? Just rub the top corner of the plastic bag. Didn't work for me. Didn't work for me. This is good. This might be a little bit boring, this part, but you know. You have the West System pumps, so do I. They're brilliant. The 5-to-1, there's no way that I'd be able to, you know, visually see 5-to-1. How do you know? I'm not sure what you're on about there, Peter. Coles is the worst. I actually sent them a message about it. Okay, I'm not really catching up on much of the chat there, guys. This is going to be a great table. I'm in the process of renovating a timber deck on the house. Well, it's beside the house. It used to be under a tree a willow tree, but the willow tree has since died. So we've got this big area there. The good thing about the willow tree not being there anymore is the possum doesn't like, well, the possum hasn't got anything to climb in. And possums, when they eat, stuff tends to go straight through them. So the timber deck used to be covered in possum poop. And of course, it'd get on your shoes. And, oh, it's horrible. Anyway, good old possum, he's down in the bush now and he's eating stuff that's native to him, I'm hoping. And giving us a little bit of a break. And also the dog's a little bit sick as far as that kind of stuff's concerned. All right, now I'm going to put some glue down in the holes. F&V delivered by local shop. Okay, so I'm going to use a brush for putting it down inside the mortises. Just to start near the top, you don't have to go all the way down, because as the domino goes in, of course, it's going to spread the glue on its way down. It'll push the glue in. So you've got to be careful as you do it that you don't pull the joints together or drive the dominoes in too quick, because you may end up splitting the wood, because you'll create all this pressure at the bottom of the mortise. And I have seen the glue just split the wood and come straight out the face. You guys are probably thinking, yeah, of course we know all that stuff, Dave. We know all that. But I keep on saying, how many people watch the show and they're beginners and they don't have the same kind of experience as a lot of us do. You know, this is going well. I had the right amount of glue mixed. Now the dominoes and a mallet. I've got to put dominoes into the receiver. Remember, this lot are the loose dominoes, so I have to apply dominoes with glue on them. Like this, into this board. I'll go to Cargill. There we go. I'll move Cargill over a little bit with my mallet. There you go. All right, domino going in down here. See that? Beautiful. Maybe I should have done those first. Maybe. I'm going to bring this back ever so slightly so I've got more room to swing that mallet. It's a great system. Now I really am hoping that I've got all these lined up correctly. And it's one thing to do it in a shed on your own, but it's another thing to do it when you're streaming this thing around the world, and hopefully there's a few people watching. But it punches up the embarrassment factor big time. Okay, that's 4 in, only 6 to go, so shouldn't be too boring. Switch cameras again. Don't forget, we've got Derek's stuff I want to show you. And we've still got 22 minutes left. I think we're going to smash it. You might notice I've got a blue polytarp underneath. That works very well because the epoxy will not stick to it. The surface that I've got is 4 micro on the bench here as well, and that it's not going to stick to that either. But you know, it pays to do a little bit of preparation. It really does. 2 more to go. And the weather is getting nicer at the moment up here. And I've found, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I've found that if the weather's nice, I'm a whole lot more inclined to come down to the shed and make stuff. Because it's not freezing cold, all that kind of stuff. It's, you know, it's just nice. Okay, this is the last domino in that section. All right, always thinking, Wayne, okay, love the new project, dry fit, but a pain to get them out again. Dave's having a banging good time. Yes, fun build. Just set up which ones that stand it to shape. Cold, yes, great idea, thanks, yes, excellent. Okay, I'm going to spin this upside down, coat it, put the dominoes in, and then we'll put it together and clamp it. Even though I've got the glue on it, it's going to touch the clamps. It doesn't concern me all that much. There we go. Because the glue's not going to run off, this is going to be quicker. Move that to there and there, and get my palette out. So that reverse cut technique works well for so many things. If you want to protect the surface of the cut, because the blades tend to want to come up through the product that you're cutting, well then you're going to get chip out. Well, this way it just reduces it big time. Oh, this is good. And I'm not going to have to do too much on the rest of it, I think. Yeah, so we'll get these dominoes in place. Then, yeah, I think I've got enough glue. I'm doing a quick think to myself about the process. Or the sequence of events, how I'm going to do stuff. I don't want to catch myself out with anything. There's a splinter there, that's no good. So Father's Day, hey? It used to be a big special day when the kids were young, but now it's, you know, actually my father didn't really like Father's Day. I don't know why. You know, it was something that wasn't encouraged in my house when I was a kid. I have an idea that I think someone gave him a gift, and it wasn't really just a gift, it was only because he was obliged to give it to him. And the old man took offence. And I don't blame him, you know. Oh, well, I can't do anything with this, so I'll just give it to the old guy, he won't know. Well, the old guy was still pretty switched on. He knew. Have you got any horrible Father's Day stories? Throw them up while we're doing this, so we don't all die of boredom. All right, some glue down inside. 131 watching. All right, now we can drive the dominoes in there. We don't have to glue them at all because it's already got it. It's your first grandfather's day. Hear that bouncing at the bottom? Oh, I just had a moment then. Thinking to myself, have I got these in the right spot? Many years not getting anything, even a phone call, and it worked out. And I worked with my son at the time. Huh. I use technically to fill voids. I use black stain to colour it. Yep. Technically it's pretty good. During the week I did some stuff. I have another piece of this Cypress that's 4.5 metres long, or 4.6. And it's going to be a step outside. And I filled it with resin, all the voids. Adrian, thank you very much for that. Yeah, things like that. Thank you very much. Just makes me smile. So, I don't know, we're going to put this together and pull it up, and then we'll have a look at Derek's. Project. See, perfect amount of glue. See that? Put that over there. Right. Now, I've got to make sure I've got everything in the right spot. I'm going to lay this down, and it is number 4. So I'm going to go to Carl Camp for this. Moment of truth. All right. Slide it along. That's in. There we go, that's better. Get the other one in a second. Drop him on. Right, now I can start to pull it up a little bit. Come back to this one, and I might actually spin this camera around over here. Let's see how that one looks. Yep, tip it up just a touch. Cool. Camera 3. Okay, now if I pull it up a little bit, and I can start getting some pressure on. What do you think of that? This one. Keep my eye on it so it's lining up correctly. There she goes. Undo the clamp again. And let it go until it starts to bite. Come down to this end. In she goes. Okay, so that's all of those matched. Now, we've got to match it up with the big slab. There she goes, beautiful. It's a great feeling. It really is. Catching on one of them there, that's all right. So what we do is a little bit of twist and it works. Might come back to Patreon cam. Maybe not. It's all right. That's okay. Come over here with this one. If I'm back a fair way, that might work. Actually, after all of that, I'll go with that one. Last one, just give it a bit of a wobble. Got it. Undo this one, which is right in the middle, and this one should pull them all the way in. Here we go. It should pull it all right up. That's not too bad. What do you think? See you later, Ian. Okay, so that's all of them on the, those on the underside. I'm winding this one back a little bit to do the right hand side. And that'll just squish the glue out a little bit more. All right, it's going pretty well. I'm going to just raise this camera up a little higher and give you an idea of how large this table is. I got things everywhere fighting with me. All right, camera 3. There you go. That's clamped up nicely. There's a little bit more I have to do on it. And that is put the other clamps across the top. Now you can see that the method I've used, there's nothing. There's no humping or anything like that. It's just magic. All right, I'm going to clean off. No, I won't. I'll put these on straight away. Oh, I'm backwards and forwards, aren't I? Not to worry. If I put that there and get, what do I need there, a 300? I was going to walk that direction, but it's covered with cables from the cameras. I'll get a couple of these. See if that works. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the joiners. I have just this method. It works. It's just pulling up the last bit. Putting it back there so it's not in the glue. And I'm going mid-span between this clamp and this clamp here. Good. Two more, and then we're going to have a look at Derek's, and then we'll close the show off and have the Patreon meeting. A glue up is always fun. Bit challenging sometimes, but overall, pretty good. Yeah, so this will be a nice table for the family to come around and barbecue. I should be able to fit 10 people. Why is that slipping? I do not know. I haven't locked it for some reason. There we go. That's better. It's just pulling those last little bits of glue up. This is the last one. And I think I made enough room in between the monitors. What do you do? Oh, Adrian, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's come back to Patreon cam. There we go. How cool is that? What have we got here? This is going to be a beautiful table. So I'm going to work on this during the week. I'll take it out of the clamps and clean off everything, sand it, cut the ends, flip her over, work on the back. This weighs 100 kilos. It's a fair weight. All right, so now what have we got? Derek, here we go. So Derek says, hi Dave, might be useful for show and tell sometime. This is a serving tray. Let me see, come down to here. And indeed it is. It's all Moranti, but the base is quite an unusual figured look. Well, at least to me it has. The ends were cut on the CNC. And the mitered corners are pinned with homemade Moranti dowels. This is how he's made the dowels. He's driven a piece of timber through a hole in a piece of steel. And he says, tricky to make without breaking them. And that's where it goes through the mitered corners. That's really, really nice, Derek. Thanks for sending those in. The base is pinned to the sides with bamboo skewers. Finish is a satin clear polyurethane. It will go to the gallery at Mogo for sale with my other stuff. Not that we have many customers with lockdown just at the moment. See you on Sunday, of course, which is today. Thanks for sending that in to me, Derek. And if you want to send some stuff in, by all means, please do it. It'd be great to see your stuff. Now, also about to have the Patreon meeting, and I'd like to say thank you to a certain tier and above of my patrons. So thank you to all of them, but I read out some of tiers' names. So we've got Johannes, Mohr, John Parra, Vincent Ngian, Peter Woolworth, Justin Bailey, Brett Guthrie, Mike Deam, Wayne Cargill, and John Lynch. Thank you so much for supporting me with this. I do make comment that I get to have a fun time doing it, but I could also be doing other stuff. I could be mowing the lawn, but I'm here doing this stuff, and hopefully you can pick up some clues and tips and have a bit of a social time with the chat as well. All right, so we'll see you very soon. Thanks again for watching. Have a happy Father's Day. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I shall see you next week. Bye.